Yeah, and this is a live presentation, which is why my neighbor started mowing his yard just now. So you'll be delighted to know I'm not being like attacked by a helicopter or anything. It's just my neighbor. Great to see familiar names and faces on here, as well as a lot of folks that I don't know, which is even more exciting to see new people that I don't know involved. So I'm going to talk to you today about the Wild and Scenic Rivers Coalition. It's a coalition that started in 2018 as part of the 50th anniversary of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. Some of you may have been at River Rally in 2018 when we had significant conversations around the need for a Wild and Scenic Rivers Coalition and what it might look like. And I was part of those conversations along with quite a few other nonprofits working in the space. And, you know, at the time when someone was working on a bill, they would reach out to the people they knew, you know, whether it was a wild and scenic bill or maybe a policy issue or forest planning issue or a new CRMP. And you'd kind of reach out to who you knew, but you didn't know who you didn't know, right? So there was a lot of work going on. We would try to find consistency with our partners so we weren't doing things that, you know, were inconsistent with how the agencies viewed the world or how our partners viewed the world with how rivers should be managed and protected and designated. But it was difficult. And so in 2018, we started the coalition with no money. And, you know, it was pretty small, but it was like, you know, when you throw a party and you know, your couple good friends are going to come, so you know you're going to have a good time, and then you hope a bunch of more people come, and that's how it's worked out. We now have 40 organizations that are part of the coalition, and we've been doing a lot of great work. It's kind of amazing the amount that we've accomplished in just 2.5 years, especially given the pandemic. So it is a umbrella group for all issues wild and scenic, mostly from the non-agency side, but we work very closely with the agencies. It dovetails really nicely with RMS, but without overlapping a whole lot. And I'm really proud to say that we hired Lisa Ronald to be our campaign coordinator pretty much at the beginning of this idea. And she's just done an outstanding job out of Montana in helping to coordinate all of us and keep us all working on the same projects and talking and organizing events. And I'm even more proud to say that she's not here doing this talk because she's on the Oahe right now, and very jealous of that, or envious, I should say. And so she's with us in spirit. So can you go to the next slide, Angie? So we kind of do three main buckets of work. We do advocacy, capacity, and communications. So advocacy, we recognize that is something that just kind of it often falls to the nonprofit partners and the public advocates for rivers, just the people that care about rivers, the enthusiasts. So we work together as a coalition on new designation campaigns, on policy initiatives, and also just to support our agency partners that manage these rivers. So we say things to Congress and to appropriators and to whoever will listen about our agency partners on their behalf that maybe they can't say themselves. And we just really want to elevate the stature and awareness of the Wild and Scenic Rivers program anywhere we can. And that includes in policy legislative arenas. So the second thing we do is capacity. Again, appropriations is something that we're increasingly working on, trying to make sure that funding flows to Wild and Scenic Rivers, whether it's direct appropriations or Great American Outdoors Act projects or Land and Water Conservation Fund. We really just want rivers to be thought of, as resources are being allocated. And another way we do that is through volunteerism and trying to encourage people to, the nonprofit partners that are part of our coalition to organize volunteer efforts on stewardship. This picture is of Jack Henderson, who many of you know, used to work for RMS very recently, and he's doing water quality sampling as part of the Adventure Scientist water quality program that's specific to wild and scenic rivers. This is a day we spent on the Chachuga River, which you might notice is a little bit high that day. That was a pretty interesting day to be out sampling water as this big flow event kind of moved down the watershed with us as we sampled. So the third thing, go to the next slide, is communications. And Sorry for putting a picture of Zoom on Zoom. It's kind of like a hall of mirrors effect, but this is a screenshot that we took of our Wild and Scenic River Hill Week rather. And in 2020, in March, we kind of had our first big meeting as a coalition, and we did it in DC. And we were the last meetings that most congressional offices had. And we met with the agency partners, and it was the week where when we flew there, it felt pretty normal. And by the time we flew home, it felt really weird because the pandemic had hit that March. But we did get to meet. We just had a wonderful, wonderful time interacting with many of you in the agencies. And this year we did it again, but we did it virtually. We had 80 attendees. This is just a couple weeks ago. We had 30 organizations represented. We discussed in detail 12 legislative campaigns spanning 10 states. We had some learning sessions, and then we also had a lot of really powerful, positive meetings with different agencies. And this ranged from Wild and Scenic leads in regional offices to, kind of leadership up through the chief of the Forest Service. And it was just an incredible opportunity to talk rivers with people who, go many days probably without talking about rivers in their very busy jobs in DC, as well as just to network with each other, just like we're all doing here today. So Hill Week was incredibly powerful. And I'll say too, the communications piece, it's not just internal communicating with each other and with our partners, but it's communicating with the public. And, I think many of you know that you could go to a wild and scenic river, stand along the river and ask people what a wild and scenic river is, and many of them wouldn't know. So just really wanting to raise the public awareness, public understanding, and public appreciation of the wild and scenic river system is a goal we all shared. And thanks to the work of the coalition, we can now do it, in an integrated way, in an efficient way, and do it together. So you can go to the next slide. So just a little bit extra context here. Hang on one second, let's see. Pardon my notes. Okay, so yeah, so some of the things we've been doing, we've been writing collaborative letters across the coalition to send to leadership in Congress supporting new wild and scenic river bills. And in the past, when we've done that, it's been largely individual organizations or small groups of 2 or 3 organizations. And now we can rally a lot more support. And we can also start to talk about the wild and scenic river system as a system and growing it as a system. And it becomes much more powerful across states, across regions, across agencies, when you talk about this as a body of work that is powerful and important for the future of our country. And we've been doing that. And the other thing we've been doing is kind of serving as, I guess I'd say, the non-agency counterpart to the Wild and Scenic Rivers Council. So we talk a lot, and many of these organizations have for a long time, about policy issues, about whether it's how eligibility inventories are done or really important management issues. So we're trying to bring a lot of those ideas to a higher level through collaborating and having conversations, and then bringing those to whether it's the agencies or the administration or whoever will listen, basically. And one of those is climate. We're certainly very interested in how the 30 by 30 initiative that the administration is putting forward to try to protect 30% of the land and water in our country by 2030, which is a global initiative. How do rivers fit into that? We should talk about it. Whether it's a goal people think is reasonable or support, we think that rivers have a very important role to play in climate change mitigation. And we want that to be part of the conversation and have them be fully considered. Again, I said, we have a lot of thoughts on eligibility and suitability because it's just really important for us to have sort of a menu to choose from for designating new rivers and streams, and having the biggest, most well-informed, well-supported kind of menu of interim protected rivers, it benefits everybody, we think. And so we're actively working with folks to talk about how those processes should be carried out. We've sent letters on that, and we've also been working on recreational impacts and the idea that the pandemic has brought vast numbers of people out onto our waters and onto the land that weren't there before. And what do you do about that? That we have a lot of people that are just kind of uninitiated or new to the woods, new to the waters, and like, how do you welcome those people and do it in a way that protects the resource and gives them a safe, fun experience that helps them connect with nature and grows their appreciation of the river system. So hopefully that's something we'll keep working with agencies on over time and our partners. Let's see, let's go to the next slide. A lot of our information is on our brand new website, which we just launched 3 weeks ago. It's wildriverscoalition.org. I encourage everybody to check it out. It's probably, I'd say, a work in progress, but it's good and it's going to get better. And you can see our 40 plus members of our coalition. And if you are not a member of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Coalition, I'd encourage you to find ways of participating. We meet, I think every 2 months we meet once, sometimes monthly if we've got a lot going on. And we have really lively conversations. It's a fun group to be part of, very high energy. It's an inspiring time to be working on rivers, I think, for a lot of us. And we definitely have like a bright view for the future. Go to the next slide. So I am more than happy to answer any questions. I'm definitely here representing a lot of people that have a lot of sweat equity into the new Wild and Scenic Rivers Coalition that's entering its 3rd year of existence. And I just couldn't be more impressed with the people involved, including Lisa Ronald, and hope to see our coalition continue to grow, get more diverse, get more fun, get more successful in the years to come. So happy to answer any questions while you look at a picture of my cute kid and her friend rowing my raft.
Is that the horse pasture you got in the background there?
Sure is. Yep, that was from 6 months ago. Wild and Scenic River here in North Carolina, one of our most recent.
That was
Good
great
question.
Kevin.
Thanks. And this is the Chattooga in the picture with my kiddo.
And again, if anyone has any questions, we've got about 5 minutes where you can unmute and ask them, or you can ask in the chat.
And I'll put my email address in the chat. If you have any questions about the Wild and Scenic Rivers Coalition, feel free to email me.
Well, for the next few minutes, while people might think of some questions, I did want to let everyone know that we've got one more session in this room this afternoon. We will be taking a break at 3:30 Eastern time until 3:45. Get up, stretch your legs, get a little snack. And then from 3:45 to 4:45 Eastern, we are going to have What Factors Help Ecosystem Collaboratives Succeed by Mike Foreman. All right, I did see a question come in from Sarah about the coalition. She asked, what is the leadership structure? Is there an executive committee?
That is a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure I'm on it. There is one. We're pretty small and we're pretty simple right now. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm sure I can. I wish I knew the answer to that question. I don't think we have a formal structure yet, but that's probably long overdue. So sorry we're so kind of ad hoc right now.
Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining. Another reminder is tomorrow morning, we're going to be kicking off the full symposium. Today's just like a pre-symposium day. We're going to have even more talks and sessions going on tomorrow. We'll be starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we're going to have a great keynote. Then we're going to have 4 different rooms open. We're going to have a lobby available for sponsor and networking rooms. And another reminder that we also have a silent auction going on, and that's going to close on Thursday. We've got a ton of great items on there. So yeah, encourage you to check it all out, and you can do all that through Guidebook. But if you have any questions, you can also message me or email me, Angie@river-management.org.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, Kevin. And so we're going to have a break now. Come back at 3:45 Eastern. You're more than welcome to stay in the room. I'm going to keep things running, but we'll see everyone back at 3:45 Eastern. Thanks again, Kevin.